As many of you know me, I'm Keith Owen. I'm here for the 15th time to Victoria, British Columbia, and I really appreciate you guys being here. Before I start though, I had a thought that I wanted to pass on to you guys. When I was coming here from the airport, I was talking to Ari, and Ari was talking about real estate prices here in Victoria. And it's really quite expensive to open a business here. You guys realize that? Pretty expensive compared to where I live in Boise, Idaho, which is, you know, pretty economical compared to here. And I started thinking about it, and what I thought was, wow, you know, I think a really good topic to start out this with before we get started was on the things that a martial arts school owner goes through, as opposed, so from the instructor standpoint, so the student can appreciate what the martial arts school owner goes through. And then I got to thinking, you know what? Martial arts school owner needs to appreciate what the student goes through to be able to come here and take lessons and do this. And I thought I would start out by talking about the martial arts school owner, because I'm a martial arts school owner. I have been in business, I don't know, about 20 years. In Boise, I've been in business about 10 years. I've seen it all. I've had every kind of student ever, and I've spent lots of money being a business school owner. And one thing I think that, and it's really interesting, because I think my students, and this is what I try to do, I try to show my students how effortless it is to be a martial arts school owner. Like, oh man, it's just so easy, right? And people honestly think it is. I think my competitors who start out competing against me go, well, if Keith Owen can do it, I can too. Until they actually get into it and see what being a martial arts school owner entails. It's crazy. It's stupid. Why would you be a martial arts school owner? You could make a lot more money being a doctor or doing something like that. And all I see as a martial arts school owner is lots of money going out the door. And one thing I want to just impose to you, I guess that's the word, pass on. One thing I want to do is how much money you spend in a business. All right? Just so you can appreciate what a martial arts school owner goes through. We have rent, and I think rent here is between $4,000 and $5,000, $6,000 a month, depending on what's going on. That's a lot of students right there just for rent. You have electricity, you have water, you have mats, cleaners, you have marketing, you have advertising, you got to buy gis, you got to do a whole bunch of stuff. And like in my business, I spend a lot of money doing all that kind of stuff, and I get a little bit of money back. But when people come into class, they go, well, I'm paying this amount of money. And we all need this a little bit amount of money to be able to make the school be able to grow and to be able to have a school and just to be able to pay rent. I know personally as a martial arts school owner, my family life suffered for years. My family life suffered. The reason it suffered, just to let you know, was I had 3 kids. Well, they were at school during the day. Where was I? I was doing whatever I was doing, you know, in business. And then at nighttime, I was teaching all the time. So then my kids would never see their dad because they were at school. They'd come home, where's dad? Dad's at school. And then they would come to the school, and I was busy teaching class. I didn't have time to play with my kids. And people would talk about, oh, I watched this show, I watched this show. I never watched any show because I was too busy working all the time. And luckily, my kids grew up to be awesome. And I'm thankful for that, but I very rarely saw them. And what my whole point of this is not to go, oh, poor me, I'm a poor martial arts instructor, blah, blah. But I'm just saying, hey man, look at what the martial arts school owner has. How can we be a better student to our master, our instructor? Well, by not bitching and complaining so much, coming with really good suggestions on how to improve the school, going out and getting your friends to come to the school so that they can get more people to be able to pay the bills for the school so you can have a nice school. How about help them clean the mats? How about pick up after yourself? How about treat them with respect? How about not backbite? I mean, just some simple things. But what I hear a lot from students, not necessarily even here in my school, but what I hear a lot out in the big scheme of, hey, I pay good money to take class. I can be late if I want to. I don't have to pick up my stuff. I pay good money. Wow. And so you pay good money, but everybody else does too, right? And we want to have a good place. We want to have the best place in the world. Now, let me switch this real quick. Let's take the martial arts school owner out. Let's talk about the student. I see a lot of students in Jiu Jitsu, or a lot of instructors in Jiu Jitsu, excuse me, who are little tyrants, man. I call it the emperor has no clothes syndrome. They're the guys literally, because I'm, like say this were my school and you are my students and I have power over your promotions. And I walk in and I'm like, yeah, everything I say is gospel and it can't be wrong. I mean, most students go, yes, yes sir, I understand. And they sit and kowtow to the instructor because the instructor is the one holding the grading over them, right? And he can't hear anything, he can't be, you know, and he thinks he is right in every single thing. And then he has his favorites, and he plays favorites with these guys, and, oh, you're not as good, so I'm not going to be as, you know, I don't have to be as good to you. And the students, man, I have some students that come like literally 10 miles each way, 15 miles each way to come to my class. And they come day in and day out. And they help bring new people in. And they sit and they help clean my mat for me. And they, you know, treat me good. And they do nice things for me. Oh, but I'm the instructor and you're just a little blue belt. You're just a purple belt. You don't know anything. Even though you're maybe a neurosurgeon. Right? Making 10 times what I make. And I treat you like, oh, you're just a little... And what happens is instead of making... But they'll call it, and they have a cult-like mentality. The cult, right? We call it family, though. We're like a family. No, you're like Jim Jones, the cult leader. Because you're going to do exactly, you need to be here when I tell you to. You need to do exactly what I say. And if you don't pay me the right homage every day, I'm going to get mad. And that's code. I mean, we're family. Our team is like a family. Yeah, right. And then you break your leg and you don't hear a phone call from the dude. Because you're not in training and I can't count on you now. And so it goes both ways. But my point that I'm trying to say to you today is you guys, people need to get on both sides of the fence. What's the instructor like? And what does the student have to go through? All right, when we do that, we got both sides. Man, the appreciation can happen. And if you really want a happy school, be the solution and not the problem. On both sides, as an instructor, I just try to do the very best for my students, man. I'm serious. I give them the best moves. I want them to beat me one day. I'm trying to make them as best as they can. And I want my students to really promote the school, help us out. You know, do your best, help the other students out. And man, that's what family's all about, and that's what happens when we help each other like this. Not just, I pay my money here. Well, why don't you do a little bit more than pay your money? And I appreciate that. But you gotta, you know, if you want to be happy in the school, do your very best to help promote it. And when you do that, man, things work out great. Instead of just looking at yourself all the time of, oh, I'm a customer. I'm the instructor. Everybody should bow to my greatness. I gave up on that a long time ago, that bow to my greatness crap. All right, you guys are, I'm no better than you, and you're no better than me. We're all, and that's what I think, that's what a family should be. That's what a family should be. And until that changes in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, yeah, you might not get the satisfaction you want in the training that you have. So just keep that in mind. I throw that out there to you. Food for thought later. And as a student here, hey, how can you help Ari? And I leave it to Ari. Hey, Ari, how can you help your student? How can we give more value to our students? People who drive a long way or, leave their family to come and train every night.